for today's cup of coffee with Scream.
Cup of coffee.
I don't know what happened yesterday. It's like I went to lay down, and it's like, yes, I do have to do the laying down quite a bit. I slept for hours.
Yeah, you did.
It was after 10 o'clock p.m. before I even woke up, and it's just like, what?
Yeah, so it's like, well, Mom is feeling bad, so I went ahead and made a video.
Well, I was very appreciative, and I'm glad that he shared his artwork. That's actually a huge thing. People don't think about that, but when an artist is sharing anything online, whether it's visual arts, whether it's music, dance, anything like that, that is a huge risk.
Yeah, it's a huge risk, and
because let's face it, there's a tremendous amount of assholes, and for some reason they are exceedingly vocal.
Yeah, very much. And art is very much a personal, personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just something, if you know a friend, you do not look through their sketchbooks without their permission.
Right. I know I have shared artwork before, and it was because it was something important to me, and the person that I had shared it with, just nothing. So I just took it down. I thought, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
And it's sort of casting pearls before swine.
Yeah.
And it just is as it is sometimes.
It is. It is.
But did it cause a rift? Yes, it did, because it was something that was that vital to me, and that the individual did not understand that, was not aware of that.
Right.
And it's just like, okay, you're just not who I thought you were. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And that was my response. Got it.
See, I'm trying to get, I don't know, in a way I'm trying to get over people not liking my stuff,
right.
Because if people don't like it, they won't like it, you know? It's
right.
not for them. So it might as well just be for the people that do enjoy it.
And there's been, and that's the reason I applaud you. I applaud you for that. Was a very courageous act.
I mean, even if, there was stuff that I cut out of there just because I didn't feel like it was even worthy to, post online. But heck, some of the other stuff, like the doodle page, I don't know if you saw the doodle page.
I watched the whole thing.
A lot of my shit, that's what I do in my sketchbooks. I don't really make true art most of the time in the sketchbooks.
I just do little
stupid shit.
Well, now, what you're doing is shooting yourself in the foot on that.
No, true art is
true art. It is
a complete
art.
piece, not just a random little doodle thing.
That is still art.
Bob.
That's art.
Yeah.
It is. And this is what happens and inhibits so many people from creating. Oh, it's not good enough. It doesn't look like this. It's not that. It is art for art's sake. It is the act of creation and allowing yourself to flow with the muse. And when you're like, oh, this ain't good. And I'm not saying don't hone your skills. Because, yes, it does take practice and dedication and hours and stuff like that sometimes. Just to sit and put an implement to paper.
Yeah.
That's beginning. Everybody has to start at the beginning.
Yeah.
Crayons, doodling, coloring. That is a different part of your brain that is stimulated, and that everybody's brain needs that sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Coloring books are nice. They really are.
I heard it so many times. Oh, I can't draw. Really? Can you hold an implement? And for those who can't hold an implement, I present to you Joni Eareckson, who was a quadriplegic and painted with her mouth.
Right.
She held the paintbrush in her teeth.
But they're like, oh, this is just a skill that people are naturally born with. Listen, we did not come out of the room making shit that looks like Picasso or even looks half decent.
Right. And the thing is, there will be another Picasso. He was one. Be you. Be who you were created to be.
But yes. Be who you were meant to be. And not everybody is meant to be an artist, and that's fine.
No.
But also, it takes a lot of time to actually learn skills and stuff like that, like drawing. So It's like, can you make a basic stick figure? If you can make
That's
a
it.
basic stick figure, you've already started.
Yes.
If you can draw a smiley face, you've already started.
Yes. And to do something that simple, that's joy. Just joy.
Yep.
And it leads us with our subject today, which was somebody who he didn't, well, I guess he brought joy to some. It was definitely his art. And that was Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah. He had his own way of doing things.
Oh, he was just
He was
one
really
of a
good.
kind.
Yeah.
And that was something that I had gotten Kid to sit down and watch one of his episodes. Alfred Hitchcock, there's nobody that's doing anything even remotely like him. I mean, as far as that originality.
Because people lack originality at this point in a lot of ways.
And it's like, he did as far as the black and white, and that was purposeful. And I think that part of that came from, I'm sure that he was inspired by German Expressionism, which Tim Burton definitely was. I think that it's highly underrated. It was amazing.
But also, you can get away with a lot of things in black and white.
Yes, because he wanted to leave it to the person's imagination.
Yeah.
He knew that what you don't see can scare you more than what you do.
Yep.
And
That was like in the one that one of the two that we watched today. I don't know if we ever finished the other one, did we?
you just watched the one with me.
Okay. But that one, where it didn't really tell what happened to the dude, so you don't know if he ended up killing the tax person
Right.
as well or what.
Right, and he does leave things like that to the imagination. But his Alfred Hitchcock Presents, says from Wikipedia that it aired between 1955 and 1965, and by that point, he had already been directing films for over 3 decades by 1955.
Wow. That's a long time. So he was working on the ones before the talkies.
Oh, yeah, I'm
That's
sure that
pretty
he was
cool.
on some of the things. But his personality was just so unique. And that's what we're using as the backdrop, which was just the outline of him. And then his silhouette, which would step into the outline.
Yeah.
And he did his little cameos, very droll. If stupid
British
people,
humor.
yeah, I love British humor. Stupid people would not be able to understand and or appreciate Hitchcock.
No.
You know.
Because you gotta have some level of intelligence.
Yes,
to
you
appreciate
do.
It.
And I think that a lot of the media and stuff has been dumbed down to the point that it's just, you can't spoon feed people all the damn time.
No, you can't.
Don't cater to idiots.
No.
That's, I need to have shirts printed on that. Orlando's a cup of coffee. Don't cater to idiots.
Who did Psycho? Was it?
That was Hitchcock.
That was Hitchcock? Okay. See, I never really got into Psycho. I need to rewatch that movie. But
There are so many elements in that.
the Birds was like that was.
Yes.
I love the Birds.
The Birds was just, it was great. I mean, he just did so many amazing things.
Although he pulled something on Tippi Hedren in the Birds that it's like, how dare you? But it did good.
Yeah.
Method acting, on the spot
Well,
acting.
it was the realism.
Tippi Hedren actually had a fear of birds.
Yeah.
Like a phobia of birds. And he was like, yeah, no, we're not going to have you any around birds. And then he threw her into a room filled with birds. That was that last scene. So when they were flying at her face, they were panicking. And so they were flying on her and all that. That was real terror that she was experiencing there.
Yeah. But, and you got to wonder, it's like, did the art and that scene, which was brilliant, there's no way that she probably could have faked that.
Right.
Was it worth the sacrifice of the actress? I don't know.
Yes, I think so.
I mean, that's where you had to have
stuff like that. Now, if it's mild stuff like that, you do got to face your fears.
Right.
But shit, it traumatized her.
Well, that was the
Just
whole
slightly.
basis of the Blair Witch Project, which is in no way at the same level of Hitchcock, but some of those responses were authentic, and the fact that sleep deprived, different things like that.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
scared the shit out of them.
Uh huh.
And it made for a damn good movie.
It did.
And it also left stuff up to the imagination as well.
It did.
Because you never saw any real enemy or anything like
No.
that.
No. Hitchcock has inspired countless, after him, filmmakers, TV producers, different things like that. His, he's legend.
Yeah.
And what concerns me is that some of these that are younger are going to not be able to see his genius. There's a lot of people, they don't share these things. And some of these shows are still available. I had watched this on Amazon Prime, but maybe Tubi, maybe on YouTube, different things like that. So share with kids these things. Share with grandkids, whoever it is. Sit there and refresh your own memory to sit there and go, Tim, that was really good.
Yes. There's a lot of older movies and shows that are really good. And I think to an extent people need to actually give them a chance. But I know there's people out there that won't.
Well, that's their loss. It truly is their loss.
It is their loss, but it's like, You need to learn to appreciate older stuff to really understand a lot of stuff as well.
Yeah. And I was trying to look and see which one that it was that I had watched. Some, and I think that they may have had different or guest directors on some of these things. And some of the acting was very, you could see it was very much silent film.
Yeah.
As far as the over-exaggeration of the movements, the eyes, the facial expressions, different things like that.
I'm pretty sure during that time that, like, having audio in movies and shows was still fairly new.
Well, not in 1955. It had been going on for a while before then, but just excellent. And things that there are things that you can get by with doing black and white that you can't with color.
Exactly. Yeah, there is stuff that you cannot get by with color. Like, just, like, for example, if there was unless it's actually done on actual film, what are those called? Like those still backgrounds that are hand painted and stuff like that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You can get away with those a lot easier in black and white than in color. Although, the only one that I know of that really did it well, that you could not detect it, was Dark City.
Yeah.
Dark City had that sort of background in a lot of things. And a lot of it was miniatures, too.
It's a matter of building on the shoulders of giants and those who came before in these industries. And I hope we don't lose that with this AI stuff. That concerns me. And we have seen just this past weekend so much AI shit as far as the advertising.
Yeah.
And AI, are they going to have the creativity of a Hitchcock? I don't think so. No. Or a Tim Burton or some of these other people.
No, because that level of creativity is sort of exclusive to humans.
I think it comes from the soul.
It does. That's what I'm trying to get at. Humans have soul, and that is where the basis of creativity comes from. And thus, AI is not going to get that. Yeah. It's still going to have to run on prompts, which relies on the creativity of humans.
Which is probably more than likely not going to be that much. It concerns me that these younger ones are losing their creativity.
In a lot of ways they are, because also it's not only just because of AI. I don't think that it's fully AI to blame. I think it's because of the people that are chronically online and have been chronically online. That's what had stifled my creativity for a long time.
I can see that.
Because they're saying, oh, you can't do this. You're not allowed to do this. You're not even allowed to trace whatever, blah, blah, blah. You're not allowed to use references. You can't look at your subject. You got to do it all by memory. Yeah, literally a lot of...
Who the hell said that?
There's a... Shit. I wish I could tell you, because this comes from a variety of people online.
Where? Who are these people? What is their basis of understanding of the masterworks?
They're all over the internet. They think that they got a little bit of knowledge of art, and they think that they're a fucking expert on this shit.
Okay, let's go back to previous statement. Don't encourage the idiots and stuff.
Mama, that's not encourage. If you're posting your art, they're going to comment that shit, no matter where it is. There are people that have made videos like that, saying, "Oh, don't do this, don't do that," or whatever.
That is one of the things. There used to be an old saying: "Those who can't do, teach," and a lot of times that's true.
Yeah.
And it's like you've got a generation, maybe more than one, of people who have never done anything. They think they're an expert because they watched a video on something, but they've never actually tried the application of whatever.
Right.
It's interesting because, especially on TikTok, it's either people being the ones that get the most attention, or at least that I have seen the most, people doing remarkably stupid things that are sitting and screaming and acting like that they are just in some kind of meltdown. How has that become a thing? It's like, okay, do you really want to come off as mentally unhinged and or emotionally dysregulated? Do you think that that's going to help draw someone to your cause? Is it just a matter of frontal lobe damage that all these people, that they were wannabe theater kids looking for a theater, and maybe they took all the world's a stage a little too literally?
And some of them are spoiled brats who have never grown up and matured, who have never ended up in rough shit.
Mm-hmm.
And the littlest of inconveniences, when they don't get their way, still makes them spiral out of control.
Well, and it's one of those that...
they're so wound up.
Even as far as the Darwin Awards and stuff, and I really am concerned that in the next little bit, we're going to have some really rough stuff coming down. We'll talk about that in another day. I have theories because I observe and because I think for myself. I listen to a variety of peoples. I appreciate a lot of things. I do not appreciate screaming heads that I don't know. It's like, I don't know you. You're not part of my world. Why would I care what you say?
Right. Right. But there's people out there that just...
They're unhinged.
I've had actual real life people tell me, like, yeah, you can't do this or whatever, like, blah, blah, blah. That was like with singing one time, like, years ago. Like, just going like, la, 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 la. Someone was like, that's not actually singing. And it's like, dude, that is, you may not be singing, like, actual lyrics, but that is singing. That is a part of it. That is a practice technique.
I would almost guarantee you that at some point, Alfred Hitchcock had someone in his life that said, you can't do this. And then in his wonderful, droll, British way, he said, watch me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he became a trailblazer.
That is what people have to do. They have to literally ignore the people that say, you can't do this.
Now, that can be one of the main elements of Aries. So when we have some of this stuff in Aries, do that. You don't have to listen to these other people. If something feels right in your spirit to somebody sit there and go, oh, you can't draw on this, or you can't. Who said? Who said?
Right.
Ask them how they know. Who died and made them an expert? Where is their work hanging in a museum someplace? And we're not talking a banana duct tape to a wall. That is not art. That is bullshit.
It's not these people who actually are trying to be museum-worthy artists or whatever. A lot of these people that claim to be artists are doing these little doodles that they're posting on, like, Shit, they're posting them on TikTok and DeviantArt and shit like that. DeviantArt is not the place to post art. Flat out.
Well, you know, and
It used to be back in the day, but it has since went to shit.
art for the masses, and there is somebody that does sidewalk chalk art. Just these, you have to be paying attention or you will miss them. And they do video those because other people would miss them.
Mm-hmm.
That has its place. You've got, what's his name, Banksy?
Yeah, Banksy. That's graffiti in a way, what he does.
Yes, but there's a reason he does not want people to know who he is. He wants the work to stand for itself. And it is usually remarkably simple, and it's brilliant in its simplicity.
Yeah.
Because it works.
Mm-hmm.
Not all art has to make some kind of fucking political whatever statement.
No, and it doesn't always have to be reaching upward or downward, whichever
No.
way. It can just be what it is.
Yes.
Just vibe with it. And when people have creativity and actually just, let the muse go, let the muse flow.
Yes. Yes.
They end up creating something that is in their own space, in their own originality.
Sure.
And people who vibe with it will flock to it.
And the other ones, let them go, because more than likely they hate everything. Don't let the haters dictate your world. No. But with Hitchcock, now he was one of these. I would say that because it was a matter of camera angles, it was a matter of lighting, because those were the tools of his art.
Yeah.
And if somebody did not have the same vision that he did, and I'm sure that it must be very difficult for these directors, because they have peoples that they have to factor in.
The good directors, yeah, they know exactly what they want, and it is very...
And to try to bring the best out of these actors, and my God, some of those actors are just up their own asses.
So you're fighting with ego along with it, and a lot of the sometimes certain actors will want to change the movie, will want to change the artist's art.
So there's a conflict.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, if you wanted it done this way, find someone else that will actually do the movie that you want. Don't fuck with my own art. Don't fuck with my own vision.
Yeah. I mean, to come in there and want to derail, instead of working with, and I know you've said before, Betty Davis would work with some of the people.
Yeah. Now, she would make changes here and there, but
it worked.
Yeah. It usually did make the movies a lot better.
Yeah. But as far as back during those times, like Cecil B. DeMille, I don't think people told him what to do, how to do it, anything like that, or he told them where the door was.
Yeah. Yeah. But you got some actors, like, for example, fucking Rachel Zegler, who will just completely bulldoze a project.
She is not even. Some of these people today, it's just, they need to get a grasp on reality. They need to go back and truly watch some classic, films, TV, people that were truly talented.
Well, that is the issue with a lot of younger people. They do not understand the importance of a lot of older stuff.
No.
Unless...
Well, that was the whole thing, that she had thrown shade on the Disney animated movie.
Yeah, and then wanted to backtrack on that. And it's like, you stand business. You said what you said.
Oh, yeah. And even before then, it was a Grimm's fairy tale. I mean, this legend was hundreds of years old, and she wants to rewrite it. No, go write your own story.
Well, Disney did make some creative changes to it of their own. So, because the Brothers Grimm was a lot darker.
Absolutely, because a lot of them were morality tales. A lot of Hitchcock's stuff were morality tales.
And that's what it is. A lot of the people they look at the stories and be like, oh, this is horrible, whatever, but they do not actually understand that these are morality tales, and it tells you what not to do in a lot of situations.
Right, because the world itself You can't bubble wrap it. You can't sit there. If you want to live with a VR headset, you might be able to control whatever. But at some point, even that is going to break and you're going to have to deal with reality.
Yeah, and in a way, that's what Alfred Hitchcock's work was also.
Yes, it is the controlled fear. It is necessary. The people that's like, oh, I don't want to do scaring the children's. Guess what? You're enabling the children's to where they're not able to cope and deal with reality.
Yes, because life is not always kind and gentle and
go out there and look at nature.
Puppies and rainbows and shit.
No, there's a lot of dark stuff out there. I mean, it just...
Sometimes you get shit.
Yeah, and it's just one of those that is life. You sit there and go, okay, this is how this is. You don't even have to sit there and go, this is good or this is bad. It simply is.
What was that quote from the Angry Video Game Nerd?
I have no idea.
It was a parody, and he's like, well, my mama always told me that life is like a box of chocolates. Sometimes you get shit.
God.
It was like, sometimes life is like a box of shit. You always get shit.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was just very and sundry. But Hitchcock was incredible. So, we've got this long weekend. And now probably what we'll do is on Memorial Day, I usually do something because I am a deeply patriotic person.
Yeah.
And so it would be better for me to have music in a static image or something like that in honor of the day and the memory of the day than to go on a rant.
Yeah.
Because there's enough people ranting right now. Yeah. So Hitchcock.
There's too much ranting, actually.
Watch you some Hitchcock.
Yeah.
Go back and remember. Go back and watch, not just the Alfred Hitchcock Presents. I like them because they're short.
Yeah.
It's geared for ADHD people. But as far as like Psycho and some of these, the Birds and go down a rabbit hole. That's a good rabbit hole. Share it with somebody else.
I've had 2 different copies of The Birds,
Mm-hmm.
and both of them got beat the fuck up.
Well, you watched it a lot. You enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So everybody's having the paranormal and the supernatural. Thank you all for the prayers and the well wishes each and every time. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because we've had some challenges. Kid found out he actually had an eardrum that had ruptured.
Yeah. I possibly still have a hole in it.
Well, it'll heal over, but that was one of the things. He didn't say anything about that, so he needs prayers too.
But literally my reaction was, you're shitting me. I said that to the doctor.
It's okay.
I
I go in and I speak freely because, he's all right.
Oh, shit. Shit.
No, it's like, this is who I am. This is who I am. For tonight. So, do you want to tell them where we will be found?
Do you need to
tell them?
I need to do that. I need to do the outro. You can find us on BitChute, Rumble, and YouTube at Werlanda's Cup of Coffee with Scream. Also, check her out on X, previously known as Twitter, at Werlanda, COCWS.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us. Have a good.
X has been having some difficulties over the past couple of days from what I heard. They had some kind of fire at one of the facilities out there on the West Coast. And it must have been significant.
A lot of stuff is going on with that company lately, isn't it?
Well, it's not just them. It's a lot of other ones. But are there people that want to punish Elon? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, this is prayers, all the time prayers, because it is a matter of spiritual warfare. It's good versus evil, and people are picking sides, and by their fruits you'll know them.
Yep.
It's pretty easy these days.
Yep.
Know that you are loved. Treat other people the way you would like to be treated. And Lord willing, we'll see you on the next cup.
Yeah.
Bye.